so that it will be accessible to you all after the fact, because we'll kind of go through things a little faster than usual. Okay. So getting to the flood insurance basics, what is homeowners insurance? Homeowners insurance covers damage to home, property, but personal belongings and assets, potential cover for living expenses if displaced during repairs. It does not cover flooding, earthquakes, damage by pests, and wear and tear. Okay, so oftentimes people believe that flood insurance and just because you have homeowners insurance means that your home is covered by any sort of damage, even related to flooding. And we want you to understand that those are two separate types of insurance, and that when you have homeowners insurance, that does not mean you have flooding insurance. So that's why it is important. Some people think they won't know that this is a thing until they actually, experience a flood. But this is why we're talking about this today. So what is flood insurance? The National Flood Insurance Program provides insurance to tackle flood, socioeconomic impact, coverage for property owners, renters, and businesses, and facilitates faster recovery post-flooding. It is mandatory for properties in high-risk flood zones with government-backed mortgages. And in the district, 211 claims and $4.6 million since 2000 in flood insurance. And I'm referring to our experts again. At any point, if you feel the need to jump in, please do so, or just add a little bit of explanation. Also, feel free to keep an eye out for the chat and see any questions that might come up, and just come off mute and let me know, and we can have that conversation and share. I'm just messaging one of our other folks that I think had to top off. So flood insurance covers damage caused by water moving over top of the ground and entering inside homes. It is a separate policy from federal government that is sold through home insurance agents. And then water backup coverage is it covers the damage caused by water rising up from the backup sewers, toilets, wash tubs, what have you. So flood insurance really focuses on, when your house unit is inundated by other outside water and moving from outside of the home and entering the home. And then water backup coverage is something that is different. That is something that comes from inside of your home. So wanting to understand the differences between the types of insurance and what you think you might have and what you might need. I'm going to pause here for briefly for any questions about any of what I just shared about flood insurance, the National Flood Insurance Program, and the difference between water backup coverage and flood insurance. Okay. So why do you need flood insurance? Standard homeowners or renters policies do not cover flood damage, but the NFIP policies do. Flood insurance helps pays for damage to your home and possessions. Insurance will protect you from big or small floods. So it's super important to have flood insurance, especially if you live in a floodplain, but we talked about a little bit in our last session what a floodplain is. That means that you live in an area which is more likely to experience flooding. But also because these climate situations are happening at a lot higher rates and a lot higher magnitudes, the reach of these floods have expanded. So it's super important to invest in flood insurance to help protect you and your home and yourself from the having to pay for thousands of dollars of damage. Excuse me. Okay. And the cost of flooding, in our last webinar, we actually realized that this number is a lot higher than 10,000, but about 1 inch of damage in your home of water I think we raised up to about $20,000 of damage in your home. So this is an older figure, but I believe it is up to $20,000 in your home that you might be facing. And Ezekiel, I see your message in the chat. Where do you go to file claims if you're a victim of flooding? I will answer that a little bit later in our slides when we get into, how to report a claim. So do you have any questions about that? Any additional questions? So we're going to get a little bit into what flood insurance covers and what counts as a flood. So a flood is an overflow or inland of coastal waters, rainfall flooding, mud flows, or collapse of a land or along a lake, river caused by unusual erosion. So these are some things that are cause flooding. Okay. And flood insurance building coverage. So getting into what it covers, flood insurance building coverage and buildings for up to $250,000 residential properties. The building, appliances and HVAC systems, built-in cupboards, bookcases, and cabinets. It covers your wall paneling, your hot water heaters, plumbing fixtures, and sub pumps. The coverage in basements is also limited to HVAC systems and electrical systems, plumbing, and the foundation. So buildings can get up to $250,000 in residential coverage to cover all of these things if you are impacted by flooding. Okay. And just understanding that this building coverage is for the actual, home. But this coverage that we're getting into here is flood insurance content coverage. So contents include your personal property, and that can be up to $10,000 in residential properties. So that will include like your furniture, electronics, any like antiques that you may have that you hopefully continue to get those appraised, window air conditionings, clothing, carpet, washer, dryer, grills, portable microwaves, art, jewelry, collectibles, your personal items. This is that coverage that you have for that. Because a lot of times when there's flooding and we're not anticipating it, some of our really valuable things can be damaged, and you want to make sure that you have that coverage. Although some things are not replaceable, other things you are able to get some coverage for. Okay, and this is just a graphic a little bit that kind of breaks down what I shared about the building coverage, the contents coverage. I just want to be clear that what is not covered is finished basement or home improvements, couches, televisions, or family photographs or keepsakes. So this is not covered. None of these are covered by the NFIP coverage. And NFIP, Ezekiel, stands for National Flood Insurance Program, where you will be able to get flood insurance from. Okay. Some additional flood insurance coverage includes cleanup costs and debris removal, $10,000 in flood protection equipment or sandbags or property removal. So a lot after a flood, the water needs to be taken out. You have to clean up. You have to make sure there's no mold or mildew that can grow in that space. So that can cost quite a lot. But there's also some ways for you to have like this proactive measure. If you know a flood is coming and you go and invest in some sandbags to help prevent your home from being flooded, there are also reimbursement from your insurance company because you took those mitigation measures prior to a flood. Okay. And Bill, please feel free to hop in at any moment, as well as our other partners that are on the call. If you would like to add anything or think I might be leaving out any key information that our attendees might want to know.
You're doing great. No, I was watching, but no, I mean everything you're saying is true. I just want to kind of, if anything, to reiterate, the one that's not covered that we see a lot is the basements. Flood insurance through the NFIP is extremely limited in what it covers in the basement. Yeah, it'll cover your hot water heater, your mechanicals, your foundation, some of the structural things. It's not going to cover, like it says, finished basements here, because the whole idea is we don't want to encourage livable space in the area that's the most flood prone. So if you have a finished basement, or if you're thinking about coverage, make sure you talk with an agent about what is and what isn't covered so you don't get caught by surprise, because usually that's one of the first things people find out that, I had flood insurance, but didn't cover anything. Well, that's because everything that you thought was covered was in the basement, so it didn't count.
Good. Yeah, that's good to know. I think in one of our other sessions we've shared like, preparing for the storm or some of those other mitigation try to put the things that are really important in high areas and high places. Okay. So yeah, again, reiterating what flood insurance doesn't cover includes damage from moisture, mildew, or mold, preventable by property owner. So you are responsible for, after experiencing a flood, to make sure that your home is not going to experience those things, because those will not be covered by flood insurance. Vehicles and car parts, that would be an insurance claim with your car insurance company, whoever you choose to use for that. Landscaping, business interruption. So some people, sometimes they have their businesses, or they run their businesses in their homes, or perhaps they have a business at another location that does not have flood insurance. It does not disrupt, it might cover some of the damage to that property through the contents insurance, but it will not account for any interruption or a pause in you producing what you need to keep your business up and running. Temporary housing expenses. If you need to be relocated due to how much damage is in your home, it is not covered by that. Damage from the water flow beneath the surface, and costs for complying with ordinances or regulations. So none of these are covered by flood insurance. And again, feel free to put any questions in the chat that you may have about anything that is shared. So getting a little bit into flood insurance and mortgages. Mortgages and flood insurance. So mortgage lenders require the purchase of flood insurance for any property with a federally backed mortgage locating in a 100-year floodplain. And what that is, what the floodplain means, that they're just very likely to have a flood in where you are located. Now, for renters, condos, co-ops, and when it comes to you all for flood insurance, contents coverage is available for personal belongings. If you spent money on improvements in your apartment or cooperative space that you live in, 10% of the coverage amount can be allocated to replace them. But this is really important to know that your landlord, or whoever owns that building, is responsible for purchasing flood insurance. You should not be purchasing flood insurance for a home that you are renting, but it is important for you to have that contents coverage for about your personal belongings. Okay. And for condominiums, residential condo building association policy provides coverage for common building elements and contents owned by the association. So if you live in a condo, it will be great to, be best to check with your condo association and see what they offer as it relates to flood coverage. And then individual property, building coverage is available for individual unit elements, and contents coverage is available for personal belongings. So basically anybody can get contents coverage, whether you're a renter and you own, but you want to make sure that you, if you are in a condominium, it is in alignment with what the coverage they provide. And if you are if you have a mortgage or you own your home, you are responsible for purchasing your own flood insurance. Okay, so how do you get flood insurance? There are a few ways to get flood insurance, but I will tell you that the best way to get flood insurance is through the people that we have on this call here, through the National Flood Insurance Program. You can contact an insurance agent. There are some private insurance companies. And the rates can vary, but Bill, I'm going to let you jump in just a moment to explain a little bit more about how to get flood insurance. But you can get a list from the the DC Department of Insurance Securities and Banking, and you can note down this number. I will also be able to share it in a follow-up email with you all. And just to note that you should not wait for a flood warning or wait for an event to happen to get flood insurance. Just like if you get in a car accident, you can't get in a car accident and get car insurance that same day, and then work immediately for what you experience. So this has a 30-day waiting period before coverage is effective. So it's better to do it sooner than later. And Bill, did you want to add anything on how you can get flood insurance, or some people to contact or anything like that?
Yeah, I think just to add on, yeah, so there are two types of flood insurance. There's flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program, the one that we're talking about here. That's the one that's backed by FEMA. And within that, you can either get it directly from FEMA or you can get it through an agent who would write or service the same policy for the NFIP. It doesn't matter who you go to. If it's like a nationwide agent, I'm not saying go nationwide, just that name popped into my head, but if you're nationwide and you get an NFIP,
What? What?
going to be the same coverage, same rules and requirements. So that doesn't really matter. So it's whatever you really feel comfortable with. We always encourage folks to go talk with your agent or call Disby. Educate yourself. There also is private insurance out there. We don't have as much visibility on it. It is a newer product that's been around for a little over 10 years or so. Pros and cons, it does, because it's not bound by some of the regulations of the NFIP. It can be a little bit more flexible in some areas in terms of maybe coverage limits or what it covers. At the same time, when you have NFIP, we pretty much will provide coverage to anyone, anywhere, regardless. Whereas, if you go to the private market and you're in a high risk area, you may find it tougher to find a private insurer who's willing to write a policy. So like I said, they're both good. At the end of the day, we just want folks to consider flood insurance and think about it, whether it's private, whether it's NFIP. But shop around and find out what works best for you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Again, feel free to drop them in the chat. And use the Q&A button. So making a claim, this gets a little bit into what you were asking, Ezekiel. So to make a claim, you will report your losses immediately to their insurance company or agent and ask for an advance payment. Prepare for an insurance adjuster to visit, collect invoices for appliance repairs and serial numbers, and collect your receipts to verify repairs made following prior flood losses. So we're going to have a later workshop virtually called Preparing for the Storm that will discuss a little bit more about these measures, about kind of getting ready to even make a claim. And some of those things that we will share include, we might have a flood kit or something like that, but to make sure that you have like record of those invoices of appliances and those serial numbers, or perhaps you have things of that have been appraised, but you have all of that documentation to make sure that you are able to make an accurate claim on what damages that you might have. And another thing is to take a lot of pictures, take a lot of pictures of what damage has been caused. Also separate damaged and undamaged items. Make a list of the damaged belongings if you have the contents coverage, because then you'll be able to, again, file that. And then to take pictures or videos of damaged property before removing. So you want to make sure you get all of that footage before you start cleaning everything up. And then should expect a claim adjuster to visit your home and also see the damage. Okay, and in the claim adjuster visit, you must have this in order to get your payout for the flood insurance. So if you file your claim and you never hear anything back again, you need to contact Disby, or you need to, reach out again, because in order for any actions to be taken on your claim, you would need to have this claim adjuster visit. So they will provide claims handbook and answer questions. explain the NFIP claims process, inspect your property, take measurements and photos. They will explain available advance payment options to you, discuss your policy coverage and limits. They will submit a loss recommendation to the insurer with documentation, and they will discuss eligibility for increased cost of compliance coverage. And I want to also pass it over to you, Bill, to any other, things you want to add about that claim adjuster visit or anything like that.
No, I think it's pretty comprehensive. I I want to make sure, and you did a great job. If you can try to document everything you have beforehand, so just in case you have a flood, but you already have the serial numbers, pictures, receipts, all that stuff is fantastic. You said it, you know, a picture says 1,000 words, so you can't take enough pictures of the damage, high water marks, mud stains, all that, everything is fine. The other key thing here, though, is that the expectation is not that your stuff's going to sit there and get moldy and while you're waiting for the adjuster. So the first thing you should do is call and get in the system so they can so you want to make a claim. So an adjuster's coming out, they'll walk you through what you need to do. But also equally important is making sure that as soon as you photo document and all this, get it out, clean it out, start cleaning. We would not want to see anybody's property, have serious mold issues or other things just because you waited another couple days because you wanted to show the adjuster. They'll be able to do their job just fine. But once you get the okay, go ahead and start cleaning out. Don't wait on that one. And the other thing is, I went down there at the last one, that increased cost of compliance. If you do have flood insurance through the NFIP, everyone does have the ability for ICCs, what we call it, increased cost of compliance. And what that is, it allows you to access up to $30,000 to bring your home into compliance. If it's flooded and it's declared substantially damaged from the flood by the community. I know there's a lot there to what I just said, but essentially, if your home or business experiences a loss that is 50% more or more of the fair market value, then the community, the floodplain manager, would do a substantial damage determination, declare you substantially damaged, provide you a letter. If you take that letter and send it to your insurance company, they will let you access that up to $30,000 to help bring the home into compliance and with the mitigation. So, there's a lot to that. Hopefully I didn't confuse that. I just wanted to explain that really quickly. That is one of the things that you do have through the NFIP. There's just a couple things that have to trigger it.
Sure, thank you. And just some last things about making a claim. Apply for disaster assistance if available. Make your repairs. Your claim would be processed between 4 to 8 weeks, and if you are rejected, appeal it within the 60 days. So if your appeal is rejected, please contact DSP, but also appeal this process, appeal that. So costs and benefits for filing claims. Claims history can affect premiums. So of course, if you experience a lot of flooding, it might be higher, or repetitive loss or severe repetitive loss of homes are more competitive for mitigation grants and have higher federal cost share. Okay. So to save money with flood insurance, because flood insurance is expensive, and so although we are encouraging people to get flood insurance, we do understand that it is additional costs associated with that. And so there are some programs that DC offers in order to help you pay for mitigation measures in your home, including River Smart Homes program. So it is a DOE program that can pay for outdoor improvements to your home to protect your home from flooding. And feel free to use this QR code or be on the lookout for some follow-up links in my email to you. And I'll turn it over to our team with DOEE to share a little bit more about River Smart Homes in that program and how residents can get involved and sign up for it. If you guys are able to, oh, not unable to. Okay, give me one moment. Let me see you, Lily. Lily, you should be able to chat now.
Would you, oh, Ted, are you able to talk? I think I see you right now. If not, yeah, I can speak a little bit about River Smart Homes. I'm on the flood team, so this is not really a program we run, but we work right next to the team that does run this program. And many of you might already be familiar with it, but if not, it's a program that basically helps pay for outdoor related kind of like green infrastructure improvements to protect your home from flooding outdoors, like outside. And like you can see in this photo, like they will build rain gardens or I think bioswales. So kind of like also offers an opportunity to add greenery to your home. If you're interested at all, definitely click on that link, but also feel free to just email us. We would be happy to connect you with the River Smart Homes team who can provide more information. And Jamani, I think you'll provide our emails at the end, right? Or
Yeah.
at least Ted's. So yeah, we would be happy to connect you with the River Smart Homes team for more information.
Yeah. Was there anything that you wanted to add to that, Ted? Okay, I think he's still having some trouble connecting. No worries. But yeah, we shared this on one of our community neighborhood flood walks. Some different showing examples of the outdoor improvements. Some other things like the retention, the bioswales, and also the rain barrels is another popular one as well. Okay. And some other ways to save money. So those are kind of like prevention measures to help kind of control that water outside of your home from getting in. But also ways to save money include can lower your insurance premiums or getting an elevation certificate. So in choosing a higher deductible plan, elevating machinery like HVAC and electrical panels, installing flood openings, filling in basements, elevating your home, or relocating to a different spot in the community. And one of those that I'll point out is filling in your basements, which people sometimes are like, what does that mean to fill in my basement? And so in some instances, people actually kind of concrete in their basement and not have it as a livable space anymore because it floods so much. So to no longer have to even deal with that, they fill in their basements. So it's no longer an issue. Some other examples of that are some like newer homes that you might see are a little bit higher, or they don't start, they're not really at ground level, and that is also a way to elevate your home. Okay. And then paying for retrofitting. So along with the River Smart Homes program, there's also a Flood Smart Homes program that DC has as a pilot program that can help you pay for your indoor improvements. So River Smart outdoor and Flood Smart is indoor. So they provide those resources such as elevating your appliances, sub pump installations, things of that nature. But the Flood Smart Homes program first starts off with an assessment, and then you're able to kind of figure out and understand like what your risk is and what things might be suitable for your home. And I think I see Lily has shared the River Smart Homes contact in the chat. I don't see Jackie on. If you wanted to share anything else about Flood Smart, Jackie.
Yes, hi, I'm on. Can you guys
Oh,
hear me?
okay. I see you.
I think it finally worked. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry I couldn't introduce myself earlier, so wasn't able to unmute, but my name is Jackie Zudar. I'm with the DOEE Flood Team, and I'm managing the Flood Smart Homes program. So we provide free home assessments from a team of experts that will take a look at your house and put together a report on retrofits that they think could help protect it from damage. So we are currently open for signup. So if you're interested, please reach out to the email address that I will put in the chat. I'll also put a link to sign up through an online survey.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Okay. And that will conclude I still stayed on time, I'm so happy. But that will include our presentation for this evening. Again, thank you so much for your patience. This is my contact information. If you have any questions about anything that we discussed today or anything like that. I know I usually have a sign-in sheet, so I'm not able to access that due to some of the technical difficulties I've been experiencing. But I will be sending that sign-in sheet to you all in our follow-up email to also confirm that you have, that you're noted down to have attended this workshop. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us this evening, and I hope you feel enlightened by some of this information and that you are able to take some of these steps to help protect yourself and your families. Some questions that we also get is, how do you receive your stipend? You might have found this from seeing a different flyer or on the radio or, social media posts. And so our stipends are for our Ward 7 and 8 residents. And once you are confirmed to have participated in this, we will contact you at a later date to receive your stipends once all of these workshops are completed. Our virtual workshops will be finished in September. So that is when you will be able to receive your stipend. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My name and everything is on the flyers and everything like that, but I will also put it in the chat for you as well. But again, thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.